Good evening, everyone.
Just cut the applause short.
It sounded pretty good, the applause. It was kind of, on my end, I kind of heard, it was burping, kind of.
Oh, it sounded fine. It's like,
it did the best it could.
Yeah.
And so we're here. No, you didn't. It's totally fine. This isn't such a formal event here. We're doing our weekly Quantum Leap Revisited show, and as usual, I have with me a great panel of guys, which you already know. We have with us the artist Sean Krummel. He is an artist. He has his own YouTube channel where he does drawings, retro reviews, talks about pop culture, and he also has a sticker collection, which you can get on Etsy. The link should be in the description below. Definitely check out all this stuff. Sean, how's it going?
It's going. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Next, we have with us veteran broadcast news guy, Ro, who is also a co-founder of the Red 5 Network, and also he has his own podcast, the Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast, although some people know it as the Scarif Podcast, but both of them are correct, I suppose. And that's a podcast where he discusses everything Star Wars. Has been doing this for a long time. You can find his podcast anywhere that they have podcasts, such as Spotify and Apple and wherever it is that you can find podcasts. You can usually find them there. And he does a lot of very interesting stuff if you're in that direction of Star Wars, especially the good Star Wars. How's it going, Ro?
Fantastic. Every time you introduce Sean, you say the artist, and in my mind, I finished the sentence by saying formerly known as.
Formerly known as Sean Krummel. So the final guest we have here tonight is the Script Doctor. You probably know him from Midnight's Edge in the Morning. He is an experienced screenwriter. He has his own Patreon where he gives people guidance on screenwriting. He also does that on his channel. And this month he's launching a new show on his channel where he goes over screenplays that were not yet made into films. This should be very interesting. Script Doctor, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm really excited, not just for today's episode, but also for the nice plug that you just made of my new show starting this Saturday. So thank you for that.
Well, somebody's got to do it. I figured it better me than you. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you would have done it fine. But yes, no, I'm actually excited about this show. I've been hearing Script talk about planning this for a while, and I am really eager to see how it turns out. So anybody that's watching now, I really recommend that show, that you check it out, and his YouTube channel, of course, and Patreon and all that other stuff. Ro, also in addition to the podcast, also has his own YouTube channel, just in case I wasn't clear on that. And today we're going to be going over Quantum Leap Season 1, Episode 8, which is basically, we're talking about the real Quantum Leap, the one from 1989.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go back here and we're going to watch, we have a summary of the episode, which we're going to go over like we usually do. And I guess before we begin, if anybody has some brief comments on it, because I think that once we start watching it, we're going to have a lot of comments. But Sean, how did you feel generally, just in a sentence? How did you feel about this episode?
It made me miss my dad. Not that he's dead, but he just grew up around that era and that whole culture.
Well, that is good. I mean, it's good that
it's good for a lot of reasons, especially
it's good for a lot of reasons. First of all,
dead.
You're yes, that was the silver lining. That was the silver lining in the whole situation.
That is good.
Missing somebody is not a bad thing, and that sentence ended up turning out better than I thought it did when you started it. So I'm grateful for that. Script, how did you feel about this episode?
I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a little bit of my own youth. Not so much in the car racing part, but just the family dynamic. The dad that's kind of horse plays with you, the mom that has her own thoughts, but is also very supportive and encouraging. And then of course the friend that's a girl that has some sparks between you, but both apprehensive. All nice, warm stuff going on in this episode.
Agreed. And Ro, how did you feel about it?
I liked this episode a lot. It's one era in history that I would love to, if I had a time machine, to go back to. And I think that stems from my love of George Lucas's one of his early films, American Graffiti. So it's I love the cars. I love the I don't know, the sort of innocence of that era. So I was really digging it.
So we're gonna. I agree with you, by the way. Just quickly, and my one sentence is that I feel like this is the episode that sold me on the show. I was watching it, but I feel like when I saw this episode, something happened, and I said to myself, I like this show. And I feel like this is the episode where it happened. I'm thinking years back, but that's the memory that I have of it. And I can understand why. The whole 50s, like you said, it's a great... There's a reason why Back to the Future is a good movie, where he's in the 50s. This kind of era is always nice to see, and I think it's pretty well done in the episode. But we're going to get to it in a second. Just quickly, just very, very, quick hellos to Ron Donofero, Tex Rogers, Malachi D. Wildman, Joshua Calkins. I hope I didn't mispronounce any names. There's Richard Brooks. And we even have Back Yard Tardis watching. He had kind of he has to work all night on a last minute project that was given to him, so he won't be able to make it today, but he's with us in the chat. And let's just start. We have the opening, the opening that I always say, this isn't the real opening, it's kind of the measly opening.
But I think there was one thing I noticed, because I don't think it happened before. They did do the sexy woo-woo kiss. Whenever he kisses the girl and it goes...
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the whole thing. The whole intro. I think this is the first time they incorporated it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's probably true. So it's the end of the last episode. Thankfully, this actually connects, because sometimes they have stuff where it didn't connect, but he leaps and he arrives. He's in this hot rod car. He needs to do the thing. Then he looks and he sees that he's sort of a teenager with acne.
A lot of acne.
Yeah.
His hormones are through the roof.
Right. And then it's 1961, Kamikaze Kid. I think that Script, or one of you told me this, that during one of our previous podcasts, that during the 80s, even the late 80s, I guess they could find a location that still looked like it was in the 60s, early 60s, or whatever this is. I really like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's wonderful. They found little spots in either LA or other nearby bordering states that just haven't been touched by time, and put in some vintage cars and you get a pretty convincing look into that era.
I think that so many shows can't get this simplicity right. Somebody wanted to say something and I cut them off.
No, you're fine. There used to be a place like this where I grew up, even into 90s, early 90s, it was still there. So yeah, I like the whole kind of Mel's Drive-In type of restaurant.
I do have to wonder, and we always ask these questions, how did he know to go to Mel's Diner, Drive-In, or whatever it is?
Maybe he followed some friends' conversations off screen. Sorry, go ahead, Ro.
Later on, he says that sometimes his brain plays tricks on him. He knows what's wrong with the car, but he doesn't know how to fix it. So maybe this is a little bit of something's familiar. I think I need to go here,
Part of the Swiss cheese memory, maybe.
Right.
That's their way of explaining it if they really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is that he's sorry. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say the other part is that he said he was really hungry. So this might have just been the first fast food joint on his way when he pulled out of the underpass there.
Possible, yeah. Anyhow, he arrives here. You have a young Brandon from Beverly Hills 90210.
Jason Priestley,
Yes.
who you see in this one how short of a man he really is.
Yes.
It's-
I feel like this was his role right before Beverly Hills 90210. Not too long
About
afterwards,
2
he was
years,
on
yeah.
Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah, him and Luke Perry, right? Those are the two guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I don't remember Luke Perry on this show, but Brandon was on this show. I mean, Jason Priestley.
Big fan, Price. The
Yeah, I've never
90210.
seen 90210, so I only know of the cast. I haven't actually seen an episode.
Listen, when I was a kid, they showed that on TV. It was for teenagers. They watched the show. I mean, yes, it got kind of very old after a few seasons and tired, but those initial seasons, it's sort of it was something that wasn't exactly being done. Not that I'm going to get into a conversation of Beverly Hills 90210, but this
For
kind
an
of
entirely different live stream.
this kind of lighthearted drama comedy, whatever it was, like it was more of a drama, but it was lighthearted, had some humor for
It's a
kids.
show
It
named
was
after a zip code.
it wasn't exactly done before that show, so or in that way, so it doesn't matter. In any case, he arrives here. It turns out that these guys are all part of this crew, and the main guy, he's dating the sister of the person that he leaped into, and he's just kind of figuring all of this out now.
Oh, the back of their jackets say they're called the Impalas.
Oh, okay.
Must
And then
like driving
that's-
in palace.
The sister with the fiance, but then there's some kind of young lady that she does mechanic work or something. She's kind of a tomboy.
Yeah,
I mean-
she's the tomboy played by Holly Fields, who musician and voice actor for Cameron Diaz.
Musician and voice actor for Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, so anytime Cameron Diaz does like a character in a movie, and then they do an adaptation to either a cartoon show or video game, Holly Fields is brought in because she can mimic Cameron Diaz's voice to sound like whatever character she was doing. And also she sometimes does audio looping if Cameron Diaz isn't available for that on a film project.
Wow, I didn't know that. That really happens, that they bring her instead of Cameron Diaz to do the looping?
Yeah, because she's cheaper and Cameron Diaz is usually busy. They had, Jim Carrey has got his own guy too. A whole bunch of actors have sound-alikes.
But I mean, don't people notice when they're watching the movie that it's not the same guy?
Nope.
I mean, do they speak throughout all of the movie, or is it just a few shots?
Oh, it's usually like a line flub or something else that they do. It's not always the whole thing. However, for Holly Fields, like I think she played Fiona in a bunch of like the Shrek cartoon shows and video games that were not part of the official movie.
I see. Had no idea about any of that. That's actually very. I mean, I knew that sometimes. I know that with Bruce Willis, there was somebody, he couldn't speak well, and somebody came and did it. But I didn't know that it was so common that actors don't even feel like going to do their own ADR or whatever it is. But
it usually comes as a byproduct of the producers needing the actor for ADR, and they can't get them for whatever reason. So they start listening to whoever could do an impersonation of that actor so that they can make their post-production deadline. And that ends up starting someone else's career as being that person.
interesting. So Holly Fields is the sort of backup Cameron Diaz, you'd say.
Yeah, and she's a good-looking girl too.
So
Not
I
in this
don't know
episode
what.
because she's like 12, but like
Right. I don't know
she's
what
grown
she
up
looks
to an
like.
adult woman now.
So basically, they're now here, and they're sort of they're playing with. They're doing the thing where they're kind of bullies. They're grabbing that Holly Fields bag, and Sam is kind of chivalrous, and he grabs it and said, "Hey, stop doing that." But they're not happy
Mm-hmm.
because their thing is kind of to be bullies, so they're not happy that he stopped them from being bullies.
Oh, is that the first punch in the arm of the episode too that you just
Yeah.
showed?
Yeah.
I like that. That was a good running gag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you have them both talking, and I think she tells her that she likes Cam, the brother, whatever it is.
Cam. Jill tells Cheryl that she likes
Right.
Cam.
So she likes him, and then they do girly talk or whatever. And then these guys, Sean loves my summary.
You're just like, whatever. Some stuff happens. The show
Girly
ends. We all like it.
So then they throw Sam into the garbage. And before that, they strip him.
Yeah.
Today, everybody would be offended or something. I'm surprised, they couldn't put this in an episode today. But in any case,
has anybody been de-pantsed in real life? Asking for a friend.
My mom
no,
de-pantsed me
actually,
once. It was terrible.
I mean, I'm not in the way that happens in this episode.
Right.
It depends on the situation. Who's doing
You're talking about the bully way? Only once by a parent, and it was for punishment. And I was very young, and I deserved it, but never as a teenager or young adult. No.
Yes, that's I understand what you're saying, and that's exactly at a situation where Brandon from 90210 throw me in a garbage and take my clothes has not happened to me. But the good thing is Al shows up. Of course, Al has his
I
look.
love what he's wearing.
Yeah.
He has his cool jacket, his red shirt, his red glasses.
Al's an extra pervert in this episode.
Oh yeah,
He is.
Anyhow, he's naked in the garbage, and now the girl actually, play it. The girl notices that he's in the trash there, and then she brings him his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Think I got that in there?
Well, she almost runs away with the clothes until he reminds her that he needs them.
Right, and then she gives him the clothes. She's also she's excited because she's happy that they threw him in the garbage because he was trying to protect her or whatever it is. So she appreciates that. Now he's dressed. He's eating the burgers. He's really excited. Al is able to look at them, but he can't eat them, of course.
Oh yeah, he's reminiscing. This is where Sam is going off saying that it's like the end of the most immature time period, and it's all about panty raids and fast cars. And I'm like, this sounds amazing. What are you complaining about, Sam?
And then I think Al says that's like the best.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Where a prank was a prank, and it didn't traumatize you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But it's also the dawn of the hippie movement. It's just around the corner, and that's a whole nother mess.
So basically, what we have here is that I think that at this part, Al actually tells Sam that he can't marry, that the sister can't marry that douche guy, and then once that happens, Sam actually starts gaining a memory. He remembers that his sister was in a bad relationship and that he couldn't help her. And I personally, I just want to say that I really like that. These are good ideas for tying things from his personal life to here, giving him more motivation to do it and connecting him with his story. Even though he's leaped into somebody else, it's become personal for him, which I really liked.
Yeah, I also liked that he mentioned when his sister was first married. So they kind of are already setting up that she didn't stay with him by that framing, which I appreciate, because I think it's like, okay, they've got a backstory for Sam's life, and they're allowing him to seep through bit by bit. Because I think this is the episode where they actually nailed what the show formula is going to be. Like there's some recall. There's the trigger of what he's there to do, a little bit of recall from his past, his journey, and then the end, we learn what happens to the person before he leaps.
I agree. I think that this is really an episode. If the previous episode, which was that Color of Truth one, showed the capability of this show and what it could do, I feel like this one really started making good use of every aspect of everything that they were playing around with somehow came together in this episode.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
Then he comes home, they leave it to Beaver, and and his father is there, and they're kind of horsing around, as one of you said.
In his underwear too. I like
Mhm.
it's funny.
And then you have the mother, who's in the kitchen. She's kind of very kind of character mother, and she's mad at him because
Uh-oh.
she found a naughty magazine.
The housekeeper found it,
Oh.
and they might lose another one because of it.
And then does she ground him or there's something? What
Nope.
does she?
She doesn't do anything to him. She just says, "Don't freak out. Don't scare off the cleaning lady." Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought was hysterical, because she's like, she understands a 17-year-old boy,
Mhm.
and she doesn't return the magazine to him, but she does put it back on the kitchen counter if it's nothing. I'm like, that's a weird mom.
For sure. I was watching it and I was just in such a hurry. I saw it again. I saw all these episodes just a few weeks ago, and then each time now I kind of do a quick refresher and I edit them, but sometimes I miss or I kind of forget the exact thing. But yes, you're right what you're saying. And now we'll continue. There's a picture of John F. Kennedy. The sister wants to go to the Peace Corps and do all this stuff. And she has this impression that this guy that's going to marry her, they're going to go to the Peace Corps together. All these kind of pipe dreams that are not very realistic. And Sam already knows that this guy is bad news because Al told him. So he's trying to protect her. And the more he kind of tries to protect her, the more annoyed she gets at him. So he's actually not very effective in this scene. And also, she's looking at him like he's the little brother, but he's actually a grown man that's trying to actually help somebody, but he has to find a way to do it.
Thought it was a good choice for a story to be based around, because that's a really hard conversation to have with someone to convince them not to marry someone.
Their high school
Yes.
sweetheart or whatever, yeah.
For sure. I totally agree. And then the next scene, you have him and Holly Fields fixing the car. And this is the part that Sean or one of you were saying that he can't remember. He remembers, maybe it was Ro that was saying it. He can't remember exactly what's going on with the car. He has some kind of memory, but he doesn't fully remember.
He doesn't know where the go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Sean. You're good.
The crankshaft. He doesn't know where the crankshaft is, but he knows that it's the crankshaft they need to fix.
Yeah.
Right. So they do the fixing or whatever it is that they do. And then Sam talks to Al here.
This is where Al was dirtier than usual.
Remind me, it's been a few days. What was he saying to him here?
He was telling him to admire some of the lingerie that Sam's host's sister was trying on earlier, and Al was there just watching.
Well, you know Al.
Yeah, we know Al.
And he's like, he was like, I'm testing it for Ziggy. That he was off by 8 minutes.
8 seconds.
Yeah, predicting where the lingerie party would be. And
He was just gathering data.
Yeah, he's like, what else are you here for? And he's like, nothing.
That's it. I mean, I think it's funny that this was one of the few episodes where Al didn't have to play a big part. He's like, this is Ziggy's got it down, so just do what you're doing, kid. You're good.
So then we have the mother, and then there's something, she's wearing a dress, but she needs to wear a different dress because that guy wants her to wear his mother's dress,
which I think is really weird. It's like, you want to marry the woman you want to marry, you want her to be wearing the same outfit your mom wore.
Yeah,
like that's
it's a little creepy.
Yeah, that's a little creepy, man.
Right, but it actually creates the effect that it's supposed to. It seems creepy.
Yeah, yeah. And this was a good way to have Sam discover the bruises.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I thought that was a clever way to do that. He goes there, she can't get it off, then he sees the bruises, and then he realizes that whatever is going on has already started.
Mm-hmm.
And when she runs in, the guy shows up, and Sam tells him that he knows that he did that, kind of grabs him by the neck and shows him those bruises happen when somebody grabs somebody in the neck like this. I kind of like this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows that Sam is heroic, doing heroic things.
Tire irons and wrenches leave good bruises too.
Right. So you have that, and the guy's like, don't you? And then
Then he turns into a priest.
And
And
then-
that 17-year-old boy changed my life for the better, and I joined the Man of the Cloth.
so they're at their rehearsal wedding with the guy from, I think
That's Robert Costanzo. who
isn't he
has,
in Big Lebowski?
He's a prolific character actor. He's been in almost everything.
And
pretty
he's
much.
Detective Harvey Bullock in the original animated Batman show.
Yeah, he's Detective Harvey Bullock in the Batman show. He's one of Lois Lane's uncles or relatives in the Lois and Clark series.
Or maybe he's in Die Hard 2 as one of the officers.
He's the guy that tickets John McClane in Die Hard 2.
Yes, he's the guy that tickets John McClane in Die Hard 2. I don't think it's the same guy from Big Lebowski. There's another guy that I'm confusing him with, but he is the guy from the Die Hard 2.
Yeah, great character actor. Still around, still doing stuff.
I was
Usually-
shocked to see that he was still around.
Usually when you need kind of a jerk character actor, he's the go-to for a certain type of thing. Like he has a certain vibe to him.
He has a very distinct, quintessential Brooklyn accent.
Right. So they're doing all these toasts and whatever it is, and then the father is toasting and everybody's toasting. And then I think that there's a situation here that
Oh, he tells his goofy jokes.
His inappropriate joke that
His
none of the women are
inappropriate jokes,
appreciating.
right, yeah.
Then he
Right,
presents his wedding present to
Mhm.
Cheryl.
which is a TV or something, right?
Color
TV.
TV.
Color TV.
Get it right, Price.
Which meant nothing if the show was not filmed in color. So
So, right, exactly. Well, most of the shows probably at the time were still in black and white. So then he says, "Oh, I'm going to do a toast," and there's kind of a feeling maybe he's going to let the cat out of the bag, but instead he kind of speaks in a heartfelt, nice way. And then I think there was also a part that they show that he sits at the kiddie table or something like that, and then
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brandon tosses some food at him.
that pudding had good range on it. Is
Yeah, right.
a note I wrote down.
it didn't spread as wide on its way there. It kind of was contained, and then the spread was delayed.
It was the perfect shot. The perfect
It
shot.
was a perfect shot. I liked Sam's toast too, and I also especially liked the little dig he gave to the groom by saying that you can't take that color TV with you on the Peace Corps, so he's going to be watching Bonanza in color.
In color. And I think that was the tagline for a long time for Bonanza. Bonanza in color.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the bathroom here, and maybe he's even telling Al, she won't listen to me. I have to convince her, even though I'm a kid. Would you listen to that? I don't know what he says. And then this is the part where a young Michael Jackson arrives. and
I was
I
like,
did.
what the
I was
hell?
totally confused with this entire sequence up until the moonwalk, which was very hilarious to me because it was obviously a kid's. The wide shot's a kid, and then they go to the close up
Adult.
moonwalk, and it was an adult.
it's an adult. It
Yeah.
really looks like an adult. I saw the same thing, Ro. It does not look like a kid moonwalking here.
Yeah,
This is a grown man moonwalking.
I was
Well,
like, he picked that up quick.
the shape of the size of the tiles and the shape of
Right.
the foot give it
Yeah.
away. The kid's foot is like a half that on your standard 8-inch tile, 8-inch square tile.
But yeah, I was confused. I thought, well, is this kid like somebody's kid from the set or something from the production? And then when he started doing the moonwalk, and then they kind of like looked and said, I don't know. That's when I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be Michael Jackson. And then the brother came in and goes, "Let's go, Mikey. This time to rehearse."
Yeah, and that's two famous musicians, artists that Sam has influenced in this season.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, Sam, I feel like this first season, I feel like they wanted to tap into that kind of like the way Back to the Future, did
Forrest Gump.
Chuck
Well, that
Berry.
wasn't out yet, but
Yeah.
I think that they
Yeah.
were trying to go for that, and maybe it was also something to wow the network with. Like, look at what we're doing. We're doing these references. It's cool. But I feel like as they start finding their footing. I'm not saying they've never done that again, but I feel like they toned it down. Which this scene kind of feels inserted there. It's not that it's a bad scene, and I enjoy it, but it really feels like I dare say that it almost tries too hard. If it didn't exist in this episode, it wouldn't influence me one way or another. But if it's there, I don't mind it.
it came out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell is happening?
I feel like at some point the network, somebody called and told them there's going to be an episode where he meets Michael Jackson, and they had to do that.
And they did it in the most unassuming way possible so that it didn't feel so blatant. They're like, let's just have him dance with a kid in proper in the men's room. It's so weird. There's a lot of weird things in this episode. When you write it out, it's like, that seems oddly inappropriate.
Totally weird.
Sam's also talking to Al a lot more freely and he's not trying to be discreet about it.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I agree. And then this is the part where they're hiding in the bathroom. The father and the guy are talking, and they're saying things like,
I bought you a house and making you a partner.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody is going to do this Peace Corps thing. It's just all a bunch of crap. Does he even say that he needs to get her pregnant or something like that? I recall something.
Later on.
His dad suggests that he got her pregnant, which is how he got his wife to not go to college by having his son.
What a wonderful father-son talk that is.
Yeah.
And then, so then they go out, and Sam starts challenging, and I think the plan here is so that he's okay. First of all, there isn't a plan. He's just trying to put him in his place. But then when things start going south, he offers to race him with the pink slips.
Yeah, Al shows up and says, tell him to race for pinks.
Right, do the race for pinks. And now we basically have the plot to Fast and Furious, decades before the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point for racing for pinks is that he always feels like he's in control. So if you win his car, it'll send him over the edge, and she'll see him for what he really is.
Right. I like that. I think that's good writing. I like that.
And in a public setting where it can't be hide or dismissed. That's the other part too.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt there.
No, totally. I agree with you, and nobody's interrupting here. It's cool.
And was I correctly hearing them call his car the Mom-mobile?
Yes.
Okay.
The Mom-mobile. Yeah. It's a Cadillac, I think, right? Yeah.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. I think it's a
station wagon of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. They did show like the hood ornament, or at least the brand on the front part. I thought it was a Cadillac, but if not, someone please correct me. I am just surprised that in less than 24 hours they managed to secure a tank of nitrous oxygen.
Right. Just somewhere laying around.
It's like, that's really easy to come by, and I don't know where they are in 1961, but apparently.
Hey, Doc Brown, he replaced plutonium. I mean, they can find this thing.
That was 20 years later.
That's true.
But, I mean, I was really impressed. Not just that they got it, but like the girl Jill, she builds a little box with a timer and a red switch and everything. It's like, where do you get all these parts in 60? Like today, I know exactly where to get those parts, and within 20, 40 minutes. Where did you get those types of things back in 61? Like,
rob a dentist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what somebody, Ron Donofrio, says, stolen from the local dentist. Possibly. In any case, they got it, and they're doing the Fast and Furious thing here.
Oh, so trivia says it's a 1955 Chevrolet Nomad.
Oh, it's a Nomad. Okay, thank you.
And also when he's at the kids' table and says, "Oh, let's go to the bathroom," and the little kid's like, "I don't have to." Apparently, that's Michael Belisario. So I guess it's his son.
Oh, wow.
Son from his previous marriage. Yeah.
He had a few marriages.
Yes, he did.
Oh, good old Donnie.
He's Al. That's basically what it is. Don Belisario was Al.
He must be Al. So that actually would make a lot of sense. It would explain a lot. So in any case, they're here. They've arrived, and the douche guy wants the sister to stay in the car when he races, but Sam doesn't want that, so he calls him a chicken. And then once he sort of puts him on the spot like that, he tells her to get out. He's already starting to annoy him. And you also see before or after that he has like a bottle. Sorry, go on.
It's the Back to the Future 2 motivation, calling someone a chicken.
Right, but actually this happened before. I mean, it happened after Back to the Future 1, but before Back to the Future 2.
Maybe they stole
a few weeks, actually. Yeah, because I think number 2 came out in '89 as well. So.
Oh. So yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they saw an advanced screening and used the element.
Maybe.
We'll never know. So they do the race, and everything goes as planned. Sam wins. Sam's the man. And then, but this guy, he's unhappy, so he tries to run Sam over.
Great work by the stunt guy, too. Like, he leapt at the very last second.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This is good stuff. I've always liked this racing thing. I like that they have these cars and whatever. And then there's that cool shot where he sees that he's trying to rough the sister up, so he comes and he punches him.
Like a Duke boy.
Yeah.
Right. He does complete Duke. So then he's here and he's the man. And now everybody, just like the plan works, she sees him for what he is, but also even his douchey friends sort of don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
And
Right.
That's the big win.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, you're douchey.
Right, yeah. And Brandon says, no, you're not cool, man. And he leaves. And then
And he flicks a cigarette at him.
And then and then he's with his sister in the bus station. She's going to go to the Peace Corps now, so he wishes her the best of luck. And then she tells him that there's that girl now is waiting for him. And now Holly Fields, she's not so tomboyish. She is dressed more like a young lady. And
I want this shirt so bad.
And Al is encouraging him, telling him it's a good idea if they kiss. And they do. And
that was an awkward thing for everybody to do. They didn't even want to do it because Scott Bakula was like 34. And that actor playing the 16-year-old girl was only 13 at the time.
Whoa.
Yeah. I recall somewhere reading that she initially didn't tell them her real age or something.
Yeah.
There was something going on there. That probably would not fly today. I think that they would CGI it. I don't know what they do, but that would not fly today, I assume.
Film this on the back.
Was Sam on Epstein's list?
Oh.
Not that I know of. But what I do know is that in the context of the scene, Scott Bakula said he just wanted to do like a very as innocent as possible kiss because this is supposed to be the first kiss between these two characters. And that's how he played it off because there was always that one producer that has a story. It's like, no, just get in there. And whether they know the age of the actor or not. I know that Holly Fields had been acting and modeling for close to a decade by the time she got this role. So I would not be surprised if, nobody vetted her age beforehand going in. But Scott Bakula was not comfortable with it anyways, even if she was only 16 or 13, and he didn't know.
I understand.
Yeah, but they did it soft, and then I think the director told Holly, "Is like if you feel it's more romantic, you do all this stuff and just let Scott stay as motionless as possible." And the shot, you see that he doesn't kiss back or anything; he's just kind of like frozen, and she's doing all the work. And that's about as close as it went because he's leapt out, and now the 17-year-old boy comes back.
Right, the 17-year-old
on the fictional side of things, but
right, but all's well, it ends well, and
real quick, I just want to say I'm always so happy that Sam and I started graying in the same spot. It makes me happy every time I see his gray hair.
Yep. He got that as a kid. Something scared the bejesus out of him.
Mine was gradual being scared of life.
So he's here. There's a dead body. He's arrived. He's holding a gun, and then they do the oh boy. This is where they do it here, and I think this the first time that it's.
I think the last one was, because I think I asked that when he
So
looks
maybe
in
the
mirror as
previous
a
one
kid.
was the first one.
He doesn't say the oh boy in the color of truth. It's the episode before that. I think he does the oh boy.
I see.
I don't remember.
Anyhow, I feel like here they did everything okay, and it's all good, and the episode ends. So
when they're before he sees her all dolled up, he's singing a song with Al
Oh,
out by the shoe shine, and it made me so happy just when he's like, "Hey, Sammy," and he's like, "Hey, Allie boy," just made me smile.
You're an old soul, Sean.
Is that code for weirdo? Because whatever.
No, it's code for cultured. Yeah.
So that was this episode, and I guess now we can just sort of go one by one and share some more thoughts about it. Sean, what did you think about this episode?
I like it. Made me think of my dad. Grew up around.
Who's still with us?
He's still with us. He grew up around. Well, he worked as a Harley mechanic for most of his life, and was a teacher for like 20 years for Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. But he would always tell us stories about riding his motorcycle down his high school hallway, and he's the reason my brother couldn't ride a motorcycle to high school because of that. He'd show up to where people were drag racing and do wheel stands going past them on his motorcycle. He's a show off, is basically what I'm saying. But he's still into cars and builds, like, he's rebuilding, I don't remember the year, a Dodge Dart classic car. And yeah, so I just like this episode because I like that whole time period and culture, car culture stuff. And this episode also reminded me that I used to watch these all the time on reruns, but I would occasionally turn them on late. So this is kind of like a meta game. If there's an episode that's on that you've never seen before, you kind of, if you jump in mid-episode, you kind of take on the role of Sam and have to figure out what you're watching and what Sam is supposed to be doing there. So that was my own personal meta game that I forgot that I used to partake in high school.
That's funny.
Well, I think that's an interesting idea, Sean.
You're an old soul. You mean weirdo?
Script writing wise, when you see the screenplay for this, how this was written, how do you feel about it?
I really appreciate it because it's incredibly simple, but the characters are complex. They've got other things going on, but it's very, very simple. It's 3 days until the wedding. Stop the wedding. Any means necessary. Oh, and there's this other little schoolgirl crush that you got to deal with too, but it's not priority because it's very background, but it's there in every interaction between you two. Great for hour-long television. They don't overcomplicate it. Every scene is moving the story further. They're not talking about the scenes that they just came from, which I always appreciate. It was even the levity of just him working on the car, trying to do his normal stuff, and then finding out had been spying on his sister for the last who knows how long, and just as a joke, but also to set up the fact that there's a conflict and there's more to the jitters that Cheryl was having that was mentioned earlier with the wedding dress, and then the mother being upset by that decision, and how, we're getting a cascading effect of how imposing this fiance is on the family, not just for Cheryl.
Right.
I dug that. It's really well put together.
I agree. It's 47 minutes, but within that 47 minutes, they do everything they need to do. There's no filler scene here. There's no scene that doesn't need to be here. Every scene does multiple things in advancing things forward. And I think that the fact that at the end you have the race, it really brings everything to a great conclusion.
Yeah.
It's like you said, you could think of it and say, well, it's a lot of very simple kind of things that they did here, but somehow they put them together very well in a way that I would say is better than simple. It's not. I felt that there was a lot of thought put into it. Ro, what did you think about it? And also, I'm asking you because when it comes to sets and the camera work and all that kind of stuff, because I know you look at that kind of stuff, it is a show from 1989. When you saw this episode, what were you thinking?
Well, again, I loved it because I'm very intrigued of the era that that this took place. Not the 60s, not the 80s, and I just love I love the cars. I love like I said, the innocence, the music. I mean, some of the music that we hear in this episode, brought me back again to, I'm going to compare it to American Graffiti. They had that movie had such a wonderful soundtrack, and I you can hear some of the tones in this episode. I'm starting to see. And for someone that didn't watch this show originally when it first came out, I'm starting to see now in episode 8 that Sam and Al, their connection seems to be a little bit more deep. And I don't know if that's because the actors have, obviously, a lot of times they shoot these television shows out of sequence, but it seems like Bakula and Stockwell have made a connection that you can definitely tell with the characters because they've been working a little longer now. It's episode 8 or whatever. Again, shooting out of sequence, sometimes that changes, but you can definitely tell that they're kind of closer. They've developed a certain camaraderie, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that a lot.
I agree, and I think that this is one of the ingredients that makes this show as good as it is.
Yeah.
First of all, they're both good actors, but it's somehow we're very lucky because in addition to being good actors, they also have really good chemistry, on-screen chemistry. They built a rapport. I think also in real life they became friends, and it really shows on screen. I don't think that they're pretending to get along. I think that they actually these two actors became very close friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you see, before Dean Stockwell passed away, he did a couple of conventions with Scott Bakula, and they actually get along quite well, fielding questions and sharing stories and making fun of how Ziggy's always broken.
I've seen some of those, and I also think that part of the reason why Scott Bakula wasn't in a hurry to join the sequel series, in addition to the fact that he knew that the sequel was a dud, I think that part of it was also because of what he did with Dean Stockwell, which he considered his friend. I think for some reason that this returning to a show when he was reading the screenplay and he knew how bad it was, I think that played a role in him not taking it.
Well, I mean, he was alluded to in the original pilot, but he was never shown technically, and I don't think he'll ever be coming back or coming into it. Actually.
I hope he never shows up on that thing. In the original, they showed an image of him and an image of Al. They look like images that you just have seen on the internet when you Google Quantum Leap. It's not even anything that they gave them special. It's just some promo material the show had. So they had an image of Al, an image of Sam kind of on a tablet or something like that in that original pilot, in the first pilot, not in the first, in the pilot of the sequel series. But I read somewhere, I remember reading an article that he got the script, he read it, and then he said he didn't want to do it. He tried to say it nicely because he didn't want to appear to be like a jerk that's not supportive. But I don't blame him, because if I would have read that screenplay, I also wouldn't have done it if I'm him.
Oh, no, I read it and I was insulted by it. First part is Sam's not even in the script. Like at the very end, there's a woman that you are informed is Sam. Like Sam has leapt into this strange woman to help Al's daughter break into the Quantum Leap facility. Like that's what you get. They quickly abandoned that idea and they made it the weird looking guy who wears dresses.
Yes. I like to call that guy random office guy person.
Yeah, he looks a lot like the blonde, not ready for primetime player on Saturday Night Live. The blonde girl who does weird stuff. If you put them side by side, they look like they could be siblings. But aside from that, yeah, like if you tell an actor, "Hey, we're doing a sequel series to your show. Here's the script. We would really like you to be a part of it," and you read the entire script and your character's not in it, yeah, that's kind of an insult. And an actor would be smart to say, "Well, thank you so much for considering me, but I just don't have the time in my schedule to do that."
I think you're right on both accounts. It probably crappy script, and why would you want to come back to it if Dean isn't going to be around?
Now, if you read my best friend's script, which heavily features Sam in it, I think you would probably have wanted to do that one instead. But the powers that be decided to go with what we got instead of his, which is unfortunate for everybody.
That is one of the worst run shows on television. That Quantum Leap sequel thing is awful. I don't remember seeing something so insulting. Like I use the word insulting. That's exactly how I feel about it. But
they copied a Doctor Who gimmick in the new one.
Does he bi-generate?
No. There is a love interest that he meets throughout time.
Oh.
Yeah,
like
I actually think that they copied the 12 Monkeys. Especially the season finale of the previous season. We won't talk about for an hour. Season finale of the previous season was complete stealing ideas from 12 Monkeys.
Yes.
The fact that he's going around and there is a lady in different times, it also has sort of a 12 Monkey feel to it. Maybe Doctor Who too, but really it doesn't matter. They don't have one original idea. All they do is kind of take ideas from different places and hope that maybe they'll somehow work on their show, which it never does because they don't know how to write anything.
No, like this was a simple, greaser story type of deal. Drag race for cars, save the girl who happens to be your sister, and then get the girl who is the girl next door type. Very simple plot. Universal aspect. Relationships were very easy to gravitate towards. Yeah, it's just simple, fun writing.
This one, yes, this one that we're seeing now, I still think it's nice that we're watching it years later, and it's not embarrassing. It's not an embarrassing show. I think that they put together the atmosphere of 1961. You feel that the acting is good. There's thoughtful writing into the characters. A story that I think still rings true, is still something you can connect to. Maybe the only thing that somebody could say, and maybe Ro would say it, is that yeah, the angles and camera work today would be different and more polished or done differently, but I don't think that what we're looking at is bad.
I think they did a really good job this time also with using a minimum of sets, because they do the Pinky's restaurant, and then they show the house, and the house really sells it. All the different decorations, it looks very 60s. I was really impressed with the overall design. But yeah, I feel like those two locations and then a generic under the bridge where they race, I thought it was very efficiently used to tell the story in this time period.
For some reason, there was one shot towards the end when the two cars were about to race, and the two cars pull up to a pillar, and there's some graffiti on the pillar, and for some reason that threw me off. I didn't think that we would see like modern graffiti in the 60s, and I don't know. I wasn't even born then, but it just threw me off. Like, wait a minute, there was graffiti back then, like this type. It was very like modern, like Los Angeles, Chicago, urban,
loopy.
Yeah.
So you're saying it was a mistake?
I don't know if it was a mistake, but
Could be.
Usually in those cases, your set decoration or prop department, if they find graffiti on something that's out of place, they paint it up pretty quick. Usually it takes like 10 minutes. Don't even let it dry. They don't care. It's like, is it good enough? All right, good, go.
Yeah.
Only a couple of instances, especially in Vancouver, certain parts of New York and Toronto, there are sections of buildings that have graffiti art, like intentional graffiti art, like the city has sanctioned it. And it is protected now. So if the studio wants to shoot in an alley and they don't like the graffiti, they can't cover it up with paint. They have to put on a tarp or something else, which is pretty little fun fact. Is that some places throughout North America, if there's legit graffiti art out there, they won't overpaint it over. They have respect for that artist to keep their work preserved and not damage it.
Yeah, there's a couple of skateboard parks here in Chicago that has original like graffiti art that they leave up, which is kind of cool.
Ron in the chat is saying that there was graffiti back then.
I just reminded myself of that. There's a TikTok video where this woman is being interviewed, and she said, "What would we be like if gravity wasn't invented? Like, why do we need gravity?"
Huh?
It's like the same kind of person that's like, how do the deer know to cross right where that sign is?
Exactly.
Well, before they were all over the place, and the cars were hitting them left and right. So we put the sign there, and that's how the deer makes it.
They're like, "Oh, thank God, there's a sign. Let's go."
So yes, Nick, the Back Yard Tardis, was saying that he watched a Fast and Furious movie a week ago
On purpose?
and found it funny that they did the nitro moments. That surprises me. I never figured Nick would be a Fast and Furious person, but yes, this thing with the nitro.
People still use nitro.
Yeah,
in their cars for that sort of thing. Yeah.
Right, but I feel like the first Fast and Furious, they really lean heavily into that nitro thing. That's like a big deal that they keep talking about throughout the movie. And it's funny that this happened some years before that first Fast and Furious movie, but uses the same idea. There's a race and they use nitro.
Science is science.
I've never seen a Fast and Furious.
I've only seen the first one.
I think that the first one is probably the best one. The first one, I'm not saying it's Citizen Kane, but it's it does what it's. What'd you say?
I liked it better when it was called Point Break.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
That's
no,
what the movie is.
It's not as good as Point Break, and also in Point Break, let's be honest, you had Patrick Swayze, which I think Patrick Swayze was an underrated actor, and he definitely is, I think, a step above the cast that you have. With all due respect to the people in Fast and Furious, I think that Patrick Swayze was a cut above acting-wise. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, Vin Diesel has that, whatever that thing is that he does. He goes to the gym and he has a wife beater.
He doesn't go to the gym anymore.
He doesn't even go to the gym anymore. He has a wife beater.
Yeah.
I mostly liked him for the Riddick movies. I found those fun, and
Yeah.
I wish they'd do another one, but I can't see them ever doing another one.
They were surprisingly fresh, weren't they?
Yeah,
It
they
was
were
Conan
different.
in space. you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and I dug it. Yeah.
But didn't
Yeah.
they do another? There was Riddick, and then years later, didn't they do another one?
They did Chronicles
3 or
afterwards,
4.
and then they did just Riddick was the
Yeah.
third one. Then there's an animated one,
Mhm.
Dark Fury, I think.
Right.
And then there's like 2 video games. So it
It's a
had
franchise.
legs.
It
Yeah.
had legs, yeah.
And
But
it was
he
pitch
went on to
black
be-
also.
Ron
He went-
Donofrio says that nitro gives you power but destroys the engine.
Makes sense.
Those boards don't got power. Oh wait, no. Those boards don't work on water unless they got power. Put nitro on your hoverboard.
So, yeah, I don't know. Surprisingly, it's a good episode, and there isn't a million things to say about it because it's just good. It does whatever it's supposed to do. I don't have any real criticism to say, oh, they completely got this wrong. They should have done this. They should have done that. Just like I said, and then Tex reminded me, the only thing that kind of felt forced into there, and it's just a minute of it, was the Michael Jackson thing. But with the exception of that strange Michael Jackson encounter, I feel like this episode does exactly what it's supposed to do in every scene. It gets the job done. And that's something that you were saying, Script. There's nothing, it's not that it's rocket science, but it's exactly what it does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
True that.
I guess if any of you have any additional comments on it or anything,
I just highly recommend checking out this episode.
I highly recommend it too. For me, it's like I said, it's the episode that made me sold on the show. I was watching it until this point, but this is the point where I understood that it became maybe my favorite show. Or I don't know if it became overnight, but this is when I started understanding that this is a show that I really like and I want to see more of. And if there's more of this show, then I want to see it. And it's an important moment that you have with the show. Today you have streaming, you have all this stuff. It was different then. To sort of find a show and feel that this is it, I found a show that I like. It was, I think it used to be a different feeling.
Yeah, I frequently struggle with my wife trying to find something to watch just because there's too many options, and I miss when there were like certain days of the week, certain shows. They want us over enough, we'll just tune in every Thursday or whatever at this time.
Has she watched Quantum Leap with you, or you? This is something you do alone?
She started it with me, but then got busy by like episode 3. So she has a lot of catching up to do. I'll rewatch these with her. I don't care, but yeah, she needs to get on that.
Maybe let's look at the people in the chat just to say hi to everybody. There's been a lot of great people here today. We have Joshua Calkins. We have Malachi M. Wildman. Let's see. After the live, the episode will be reposted after the description correction by sometime Friday afternoon. You mean this episode of what we're doing now? This gets posted immediately.
Yeah.
We're live.
I never take it off. It's just it's here and it'll stay here. So if you return to this channel, you can listen to it at any point if you miss some of it. And Tex is agreeing. He likes this show. I guess they like this episode. This is kind of back before Richard Brooks, Ron Donofero. I pronounced it correctly. Tex Rogers.
We all missed that Malachi D. Wildman semi-streaked some parents after a football game.
Semi-streaked some parents after a football game. Well, you did what you had to do, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, we've been talking, guys, so we've been looking at your comments. We've been going back and forth. In any case, I think that we've gone over this episode. There's interesting episodes. Oh, here. So you got it right. I pronounced your name. Now I pronounce your name correctly. I don't know if I pronounced Malachi D. Wildman correctly, but
Malachi. Malici. He's Italian.
I like Malachi. That sounds cool. Ron Donofero says it's a great review. Thanks, guys. Thanks you to everybody. I'm just going to go one by one. Sean, he's the real Sean Krummel. Check out his YouTube channel. Check out his Etsy store. And you have Ro, Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast, anything Star Wars related. This guy is an expert. He has podcasts everywhere they have podcasts. His own YouTube channel also have some cool stuff. And in general, also, you could check out the Red 5 Network, which Ro is a co-founder of, which is a bunch of YouTubers and podcasters and people that have rallied around Ro and his vision.
My vision for a better Twitter.
Vision for a better Twitter. And then, of course, Script Doctor with his new show. Just so I don't make any kind of mistake, Script, maybe you want to say exactly what time it is, when it is, just so people know.
All right. So this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/thescriptdoctor is the premiere episode of Scripts on Saturdays, where myself and a co-host who will be introduced that night will be reviewing a screenplay we read this week that's been circulating Hollywood for a little bit and letting you guys know what is being written and pitched to the studios in the foreseeable future. So be sure to check out that and get a nice little feel for what studios are interested in, what producers are buying, and what writers are writing to try and sell.
That sounds great. And it's, of course, you can find Script on his YouTube channel. Highly recommend it. And I guess we'll see everybody next week. We have that episode. Chronologically, the next episode is the one that he's the detective, or it's sometimes there were cases where they changed the order.
Whoa, spoiler.
What did I say? What was the spoiler?
He said that he's the detective. All I know is he's standing over a dead guy and he's holding a gun.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
Man.
It's my bad. I apologize, man. I take responsibility.
You
But-
should. You did it.
Rhonda Fair, cool. I'll have to check it out. Script.
Cool.
Mike
You're gonna. I
Delaney.
think you guys are gonna like it.
Chances are I've seen it and it'll come back to me as it goes.
So I guess we can wrap up this week's episode. Thank you everybody for coming out. I'm gonna now find that outro of ours. If I could only find it.
That
Here you
pesky
go.
outro.
Thanks to everybody. See you next week. Have a great evening.
Bye, guys.
I'm such an awesome guy.